he became greasy, grimy, and grubby. And his bright, shiny red coat was soon covered in coal dust. "See," puffed James, "I can get just as dirty as Edward. I am good enough to be on a poster." But James was so dirty it took a long time to get him clean. James was soaked and scrubbed. They even brushed behind his buffers. "Your gentle shunting and getting dirty has made you late for your passengers," puffed Percy cheekily. "Edward is always on time. That's why he's the poster engine." Then James had an idea. "If I take Gordon's express line instead of the branch line," he thought, "I will arrive before Edward and collect my passengers first. That will show everyone I'm good enough to be on a poster." So James puffed onto Gordon's line. Then he raced across the countryside. James rattled over bridges and clattered through tunnels. He really wanted to get in front of Edward. James puffed back onto Edward's line. "It worked," laughed James. "I'm first." Suddenly, the signal turned red. James applied his brakes and screeched to a halt. But Edward couldn't stop in time. "Sorry," puffed Edward. "I didn't have time to stop." "Don't worry," moaned James. "It was my fault for pushing in." "You're finally in a poster," chuckled Thomas. "Maybe you are good enough after all." But James didn't feel very good. He felt very silly. Soon, Emily arrived with Sir Topham Hatt. "James, your racing around has caused confusion and delay," Sir Topham Hatt said sternly.
"Yes, sir. Sorry, sir,"
James puffed sadly. "Edward, your cylinder has been damaged. You can't take the children to the seaside today." The children at the station were very sad. "But we wanted to ride on the poster engine," the children cried. James felt worse than ever. "Please, sir," James puffed. "If I was a back engine, all the children could still ride on Edward." "What a wonderful idea," said Sir Topham Hatt. Edward and his passenger cars were very heavy, but James pushed them slowly to the seaside. His pistons pumped and his axles ached, but James pressed on. They stopped along the way to pick up more children. "It's Edward!" the children cheered. "And look at James! He's pushing him! Isn't James a grand engine for being so kind?" James was so proud it made his boiler bubble. He felt more useful than he had ever felt before. "Even though you weren't the engine on the poster," puffed Edward, "you are still really useful." Salty loves the sea, and he loves working on the Sodor Railway too. Today, he has 3 jobs. Taking milk churns to the farm, moving stone at the quarry, and shunting cargo at the docks. Do you know which of these jobs will make Salty happiest? First, he has to collect milk churns from the farm. Salty likes going to the farm. Seeing the animals makes him happy. But is this the job that makes Salty happiest? No. Next, he has to help shunt some trucks at the quarry. Salty likes working at the quarry. Helping Mavis makes him happy. But is this the job that makes Salty happiest? No. Salty has one last job today. He's going to shunt some freight cars at Brendam Docks. Salty likes working at the docks, unloading cargo, shunting troublesome trucks, and hearing stories about the sea. All these things make him very happy. Do you think this is the job that makes Salty happiest? Yes. Working at the docks makes Salty happiest of all. The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. Thomas enjoys puffing all over the island. There are lots of special places to visit. Where's this? That's right. It's Brendam Docks. Brendam Docks is where the ships arrive. They bring visitors. Machines for the farms and the factories. Everything the island needs. Once, Percy went to the docks to collect a special red carpet. Salty said maybe it was a magic carpet. He heard tell of those that could fly. Percy wasn't sure. He looked at the carpet. He didn't think it looked magical at all. Then, as Percy pulled away, the red carpet unrolled. Percy gasped. The carpet flew into the air. This was a very special. Another day, Thomas came to Brendam Docks to collect the Admiral. Salty was telling a story about the Admiral searching for the lost pirate treasure of Sodor. Thomas listened very carefully. There were 3 clues as to where you'd find the treasure. Everyone was silent. Thomas hardly dared puff.
First, you find the Eagle of the Mountains. Then you find the clouds not in the sky.
Thomas had heard a lot of Salty sea stories, but this was the best ever.
Those clouds would lead you to the skull and crossbones. And there you'd find the treasure.
Salty chuckled. The Admiral stepped down the gangplank. He looked very smart. Later, Salty heard what happened. When Thomas arrived at the Maritime Museum, Thomas had found all the clues. And the Admiral had been so excited, he had dug for the treasure himself. He had found a great wooden box. Inside was all the buried treasure. "Thank you, Salty," Thomas tooted. Thomas was very happy. And Salty was very happy too. Every day, Salty hears wonderful stories about the sea. That's why Brendam Docks is a very special place for Salty. There are so many special places on the island of Sodor. Next time, Thomas will show us somewhere else.
engine feel so bad? Getting stuck up Gordon's Hill won't please Sir Topham Hatt. But don't despair, 'cause everyone has days that go like that. What makes an engine happy? What makes an engine sad? It all depends what's happened and the type of day you've had. What makes an engine happy? What makes an engine sad? So many things can make your day a good one or a bad.
Here are 3 engines. Some of them are happy, and some of them are sad. Can you tell who is which? Here's Percy. He is building mail cars. Percy likes delivering the mail. Do you think he's happy or sad? That's right. Percy is happy. Now here's Gordon. He has been pulling the express. Gordon is very proud to pull the express. Do you think he's happy or sad? Yes, Gordon is happy. And here's James. He's been working at the coaling plant, and there is coal dust all over his shiny red paintwork. James doesn't like being dirty. Do you think he's happy or sad? You're right. James is sad. 2 of the engines are happy, but one of them is sad. What will make James happy? That's right. Going to the washdown. Being clean and shiny makes James very happy. Thomas and Skarloey's big day out. It was a beautiful, bright summer on the island of Sodor. Thomas the tank engine was taking passengers to the seaside. In the summer holidays, Thomas went there nearly every day. One morning, Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas. "I have an important special for you," he said. "I need you to take some steel pipes to the wharf." Thomas was delighted. There were lots of sights to see on the way to the wharf. First, Thomas passed the Scottish castle. Next, he went through Shen Valley. And finally, he looked at the wonderful view from the top of Gordon's Hill. But when Thomas arrived at the wharf, he saw Skarloey. Skarloey looked very sad. He had broken down.
There's no one to take me to the repairer's yard,
Skarloey chuffed. "Maybe I can take you," puffed Thomas. "Please, sir," Thomas asked the narrow gauge controller, "can I take Skarloey to the repairers?" "Skarloey is very heavy," said the narrow gauge controller. "I'm sure I can pull him," puffed Thomas. "And I finished all my other jobs." "Very well," said the narrow gauge controller, "but you must go straight there." "Yes, sir," whistled Thomas. "The coupling on that flatbed is old, so take care," he added. So Skarloey was loaded onto the flatbed. Skarloey was sad.
"I don't like going to the repairers," he puffed.
Thomas wanted to cheer Skarloey up. "I'll show you some wonderful new sights. Sights you never see in the mountains," chuffed Thomas cheerfully. "This will be your big day out." And Thomas puffed away, pulling his friend carefully behind him. So, Thomas didn't take Skarloey straight to the repairers. He puffed through the farms and forests until they arrived at the Scottish castle.